Well, here we are, folks. The Edge is at it again. We're in beautiful Argentina. I'm ready to get out there and get after some red stag and water buffalo. We get on our charter flight tomorrow and head out hunting.
We're landed, and I'm a pound and a half lighter.
You can beat that.
Because I filled up the bark bag again. Yeah, well, here we go again. This week on the Edge, big plate in front of us. This is going to be exciting. Stay tuned.
Live on the edge, 'cause brother, win or lose, it's all in what you do with the chance you're given. Yeah, through the wind and rain, you feel your heart pounding. You got one shot, what you got? Tell me what's it gonna be? You gotta make the most of this opportunity. If others fail, make sure you succeed on the edge.
The Edge is brought to you by Old Smokes Coffee Roastery and Cafe, Browning, G5 Outdoors, Prime Archery, Stealth Cam, Outdoor Edge, High Mountain Seasonings, Hornady, Canac Industrial Services, Portable Winch Co., Vortex, Wolverine Guns and Tackle.
Hey everyone, we're in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
And this owl heads right there. You can see lots of them. That's why the city's still standing. They didn't use them all, so they're right here. Oh, you got him. He's rushing. He's down.
You know, at the end of the day, we came here with very high anticipation and excitement to be
Yeah.
on this hunt with TGB.
It's Argentina. I mean, this has been, you know, a lifelong dream for both of us.
Yeah.
We have tags of almost every species that he's got going down here, and only 5 days to do it.
Well, and for me, to be quite honest, water buffalo. This is my first dangerous game. I'm excited to see what we have in store for us.
And I'm gonna talk you into doing it with the bow.
When we got to camp, you were out practicing right away and getting yourself set up. I pulled out my bow and everything had been changed on it. You know, something happened in travel.
The shooting? No, the shooting.
The shooting?
Yes. That's wrong. You
Shooter?
We found a herd of water buffalo. We're gonna go in there with our bows, and there's two really big bulls that we've seen right off the get-go.
I'm jacked up.
I'm scared shitless.
I know. Jeff's got a little reservations about doing this with the archery tackle in hand. But here's the way I look at it. We could walk over there and shoot a couple bulls with the rifles.
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be very hard. But to sneak over there and kill one with a bow, pretty epic. Like, I'm getting points on my man card for that one.
Like, next level.
Next level water buffalo. But all kidding aside, it is super dangerous. Alejandro's already pre-warned us, you know, keep a tree in between you and the bulls. But he also said if they see you, they're gone. They're gonna blaze out of there. So, hey, the Lord hates a coward. Let's go over there and stick one with an arrow.
So we got kind of an interesting situation. We were told about these locked horn buffalo. And we were told by Alejandro that if we found them, that he wanted us to put them down. We've seen some giant buffalo today, and we just found the locked horn ones.
They're not exactly giants, but they are locked together. And if we have to shoot them with a gun, I'm shooting first. Jeff can shoot the one that's rolling around on the ground.
So yeah, we're looking for the locked up buffalo. We start moving our way in, and we didn't get too far, 200-300 yards down the trail, and we've got a cow.
And I'm looking at it, and it's got a beautiful set of horns on it.
Steve's ready to
and
go.
I'm like ready to let loose. And they turn around and say, yeah, that's a cow, no shoot. And I'm like, that's a cow. I mean, it looks like a beautiful buffalo to me. funny scenario after, so we keep going, and again, another cow, and I'm looking at these things, we're both looking at these things, and there's cows with huge sets of horns.
Yep.
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, I can't believe this. I can't even tell the difference between a bull and a cow. It's just bizarre to me. And I turn around at one point to Roberto. Again, we're using this body language because of the language barrier. I turn around and he goes, I go, you know, how do you tell? And he goes, and right there it clicked in and I started to giggle. He says, you gotta look for the balls. Thanks, boys. That was fun.
You good? Hey, just a quick question though, Steve. What's the difference between a female water buffalo and a male water buffalo?
Well, it's not horns, I can tell you that.
Big bull can go 1.2 tons.
1.2 tons. Whew. I dated a girl in high school.
Cheers about that.
That's a lie. I'm lying.
So we get into this stock, you know, we laid everything out the best that we could as far as our thoughts and what we should do. None of that unfolds. Well, at this point, it's 6 o'clock and Alejandro had told us, listen, we don't want to get into a situation where we're hunting at dark, because if we end up wounding a buffalo, these are big animals, they're tough to put down, they can swallow a lot of lead, and you guys are using bows. 6 o'clock came and we were nowhere near being in position. So we were out here to hunt red stag as well. Prime time of the evening, we make the decision to cut the stock, and we're gonna head out and see if Steve can't get a red stag and see if I can't find one for myself as well.
Again, Nancy, this is probably the most exciting time of the day for any hunter.
My last big opportunity, we get in the morning. We went back to where the previous day we had seen the big stag. You know, obviously after seeing him, I wanted to go after that stag. As soon as we got out of the truck, there was roars going everywhere. So I knew we were in a good area. We started moving our way through the bush, and you know, we didn't get in too far, maybe 200-300 yards.
I think we heard about 5 stags around us, 5 or 6. And usually try to find the deepest roar.
I had a roar coming from behind me, which almost seemed like where we just came from.
Well, we had a few of those today, so it was kind of tough to pick one.
I had a roar in front of me. I ended up having 6 stags roaring in a circle around us.
Tough to move too, because we had them all around us, so. By the time we moved, one roared, we moved, the other one roared, so it was tough.
There was times where I felt the stag was almost on top of us and you couldn't see him. We kept, you know, looking through all the underbrush and trying to find him walking, even just to find legs to give us a direction of where we need to go. You get a really good idea from where they're roaring to go, but keep in mind that all of these animals are moving. So you'll hear a roar, but they're walking. So the next roar you hear could be 50 yards to the left, 50 yards to the right. It could be a completely different stag because a lot of times they're coming in on each other. So you're trying to play a little bit of a chess match and moving yourself into position so that you can be in the right place, right time for when that stag walks through in the opening. It was like a no-brainer. No doubt in my mind I was going to put down a stag. Boy, that morning, I think that's the day that we put on the most amount of miles. We walked a long way following this roar. They were in the thick brush, we were on the opening, right on the edge, and just kind of following along. And the idea was to get all the way down to the end where there was another cut. And that was Alejandro's plan, is we were gonna get there, try to get ahead of them, so that when they come across the cut, which he felt they were gonna do to go to their bedding ground, that we might get an opportunity. And so we busted our butts to get down this cut line as fast as we could go without running and obviously making a bunch of noise, because although we were on the cut line and they were in the bush, they weren't very far away, maybe 200-300 yards at the most, and they were all moving in the same direction.
Why is he? It's a management old bull, so we're gonna shoot that thing. He's bedded down, looking this way, so looking right at us. So, in front of us, he's bedded down, looking straight at us right now. Don't go too long. Look at the big tree back there. He's bedded down to the left of that big tree.
And obviously no shot, no shot,
He stood up, he stood up.
no shot. Alejandro is, you know, he's intense, he's excited.
Do you have it? Do you have it?
So he's pushing, he's pushing, he's pushing, you know, and I'm talking back to him and going, I have no shot, I can't see him, I can't see.
Do you see it?
And so I decide I'm gonna adjust my scope to move in a little bit closer, and as I do that, at a window of like 4 or 5 seconds, he was a phenomenal stag.
Show it, show it. Okay, that's a hit. He's hit. He's hit. Yep. Oh, he's down. He's down.
We chased that sucker a long ways. Oh, wow.
How you feeling?
Sweaty.
Sweaty.
Well, this morning when we got out of the truck, we could hear these guys roaring in the distance. So,
There's nothing more exciting than getting out of a
Yeah.
truck to a roar. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
but they were, you know, we had the wind in our face, and you know, we could tell they were far away. So, it was just a matter of making it as fast as possible to catch up with these guys. And they were, I mean, and they kept on walking because they, I mean, took us for a while. So yeah, but it took us probably an hour and a half to catch up with these guys, and we were following the deepest roar of the three. And
Why do you follow the deepest roar? Is that
because
that
it's
tells you
usually
age?
it's an old bull, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even a 2-year-old without crowns, you want it out. This is probably a 7 or 8-year-old.
So to get the genetics out, this is why you're management bull. Good eating.
Oh, perfect.
Fantastic. There we go. First stag down.
Well, it is an old bull, and it's a management bull, and it's something we definitely wanted to take.
Management or not, I couldn't be happier. I think it's fantastic. I appreciate it. Let's go get some more. Well, if you're ever coming to Argentina to do some stag hunting, you want to be aware of these. What did you call these again?
Chaucha.
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 So Alejandro tells me that this is what the stag love to eat. However, they're dual purpose because they're a food source for the stag, but they're also like a security feature because walking on these things, they crackle. It's like walking on popcorn.
Yeah.
Trying to walk around these, I think a couple times you look back at me and you're like, walk around them. I'm like, they're everywhere. But just something interesting here in Argentina.
So yeah, with time ticking down, pressure's mounting. We drive maybe 100 yards, we round the corner, and poof, out goes a tire.
See, when you're walking and hunting, you know, you get bumps, cuts, bruises. But when you're using the truck to hunt, unfortunately, sometimes so do the tires. That is the case of today.
I don't know what we hit, but it flattened out right away, and my heart just sank because here goes all my time.
We've had stags all around us here this morning. But again, I just can't put it together. We're not seeing them. So saw 2 hinds and 1 spiker. That's been it. The frustrating part is they're roaring all around you. Every one of them sounds like a jumbo. You get down here kind of ground level and you can see for a pretty good distance, you know, 150, sometimes 200 yards. I swear when they go off, you'd think you're 50 yards away from them, but it's not working out for us here right now. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll hear the odd one roar, you know, maybe till about 8:30. But other than that, you're done. That's it. Starts to get way too hot. Temperature swings here, like 25 degrees, you know, goes down to about 10 degrees at night, which feels like it's minus 15. And then it's up to 30 degrees, 35 degrees during the day. So, what do you think, Roberto? Hey, no problem. We keep trying.
Come on.
We work hard, right? For torta.
Torta, yes.
So here we go. We've just been green lighted on buffalo. We tried the other day with the bow and arrow, and today we're both packing the rifles. So hopefully we'll find them again. If we find the locked ones, we're gonna try to kill those. If not, we're just gonna try to find decent buffalo and bring home an Argentina water buffalo.
200 grains of Hornady ELDX.
Destruction. And that would be 2.4 tons of work after. So I'm glad there's a big crew here. They're about 150, 200 yards ahead of us. They're heading in the wrong direction and we're playing catch up. So it's 5:30, we got a half hour to make this happen. Which is gonna be tight, because this herd's moving at a pretty good clip.
All of a sudden, we have the buffalo coming in and change of plans. Steve is leaving because he heard a stag roar. Just like that. Sayonara. Good luck, Steve.
It sounded like a freight train coming through the trees, and they're doing some circles and they're moving around, and at one point they had turned and come up and around behind us, and they turned around and came back up and actually came to the watering hole. So now he's yelling back at me, get down, get down, get down. So I get down, I get into position. About 6 or 7 buffalo come to the water hole, and of course the outside is a nice big bull. So I'm only 70, 80 yards from the water hole. I've got a perfect shot on this buffalo. I get down to my knees.
I can shoot from my knee.
Alejandro says, put on the shoulder, just above the knee. So I put on the shoulder, just above the knee. Boom. Buffalo blows out of there. The other buffalo there, I couldn't take a second shot, not a safe one, so I didn't, and buffalo's gone. Alejandro says, did you hit him in the shoulder? And I said, yeah, like I put it right there. Well, we reviewed the tape, and I shot perfectly right behind the shoulder for what I'm looking at is kill shots.
Well, we got the low light here, and I just took a shot at a bull buffalo. And they left. I mean, I know I hit it, but it's really hard, they're big animals, so I don't know how well I hit it.
Y hasta el medio, más o menos de la picada del medio. ¿Viste acá?
We're trying to look at the grass as we come through and find where some's rubbed off as he's come through. But I mean, it's a big area, and once he hit the bushes last night, we don't know which direction he went.
She's still running.
That's it.
We have to resort at this point to packing up, leaving camp, and the trackers are going to go out afterwards.
Yeah.
And, you know, so here we are sitting in Buenos Aires the day of our flight home back to North America. And we're patiently waiting for a telephone call saying, hey, we found your buffalo. But really just a flat out shitty situation to be in. There's no sugarcoating it.
Well, unfortunately, Steve and Jeff had to leave this morning back to Canada. We had a wounded buffalo from the previous evening. We tracked it with him in the morning, but we had a time constraint. Roberto kept on the tracks of the animal, and fortunately we were able to find him this afternoon. So we're very glad. It was a great shot, just very tough animal. So very good for Jeff.
The Edge is brought to you by Old Smokes Coffee Roastery and Cafe, Browning, G5 Outdoors, Prime Archery, Stealth Cam, Outdoor Edge, High Mountain Seasonings, Hornady, Canac Industrial Services, Portable Winch Co., Vortex, Wolverine Guns and Tackle.
Live on the edge, 'cause brother,